Welcome to Section 2, Lesson 4. This is where we go over the exact steps to refinance at the best interest rate. In this lesson, we're going to tie every single lesson so far in Section 2 together and go step by step to get you refinanced at the best rate. So step 1 is to get a refinance rate comparison. That way we know all the different rates from the various companies without having to go company by company by company. So the best way to do that in one foul swoop is to go to nerdwallet.com/refinancing student loans. The URL is below. You're just going to click that URL, and that's going to take you to a page that is really, really simple to get a complete view of the variety of different companies out there and the potential refinance rates that you'll get. And it only takes about 2 minutes and does not affect your credit score. Now, in addition to NerdWallet, there are several other companies to be aware of, such as Credible and LendEDU. But when I looked at Credible and LendEDU and compared it to NerdWallet, NerdWallet was much more competitive in the rates, plus I didn't have to give up as much as my information. You don't have to log in. It's basically instantaneous that you get the rate comparison. And so here are some of the top refinance companies that you want to look for when you get your comparison: SoFi, Laurel Road, Earnest, LendKey, Common Bond, and Citizens Bank. Now, this is not all inclusive, but when I did a comparison, these were some of the top companies to refinance because of a variety of reasons. And those reasons are right here. I made a spreadsheet, so it's really easy to compare sort of like some of the top reasons why you should choose certain companies. So when you're looking at the different lenders, you want to look at what's the least amount that you have to borrow in order to refinance. So for all these companies, it's very minimal amount. It's only between $5,000 to $10,000. That's the least number of dollars that you can borrow. Then the most amount is the highest. So if you have $200,000 in student loans, you're golden for all of these companies. And if you even have higher, you're still golden for a variety of these companies. You want to make sure that all of the companies that you refinance with provide an interest rate reduction when you choose auto payment. These all do. It's usually no more than 0.25%, but at least it's something. You want to make sure that none of them are charging you fees to refinance. You don't want to have to be paying more. You want to be saving money. And then unemployment protection is huge. You want to make sure that these private companies give you some sort of leniency, some sort of backup plan just in case something happens. And you can see that all these companies give you a year to 24 months of unemployment protection. And then lastly, this is extremely important, is the fact that you can prepay. And what I mean by that is the fact that with all these companies, when you refinance, you're not locked in to only paying that set monthly amount. You can pay more and you can get out of your debt faster. So what we're going to do is I'm going to quickly walk you through how easy NerdWallet is to use. So below this video, you're going to find that URL. I want you to right click and open a new tab, and that's going to open NerdWallet. And so you can see right here, you just put in your state of residence, your credit score, your annual income, highest education level, and loan balance. That's it. No personal information. And then you're going to hit see your options. That's going to take you then right away within a minute to the screen that's got a variety of different options for you. And so this is just one screenshot of all the different companies that I got provided information from based on the numbers that I gave you above. And so you see, if I had a decent credit score and had a loan amount of $100,000, I could potentially get my refinance rate as low as 2.48%. Now, on the left is a fixed interest rate, and on the right is a variable interest rate. And then on the far right is the minimum credit score to achieve that interest rate. And that's why it's so important to try to maximize your credit score to make sure that you can get these really, really low refinance interest rates. Here's another screenshot of variety of companies and variety of interest rates. Now, don't take these as the exact interest rates you will get. They are estimation because you didn't provide any of your personal history and they didn't do a credit background check. And so you can't take these as set in stone, but they're a good way for you to analyze and see what companies are going to give you the top interest rate. And then you can go individually and contact those companies. Now, I don't want you to hit apply now because Some of these companies, I've found a way for you to earn extra money when you refinance, such as SoFi and Common Bond. So instead of hitting apply now here, I want you to go to the links below this video and use those buttons. You should get the exact same interest rate, but you're also going to get $100 to $200 extra in your pocket. So stop now, because I want to make sure that you only refinance if you're getting a much better interest rate. So for example, if your interest rate currently without refinancing is 7%, and then for some reason you are going to refinance and it's only 6.5%, I wouldn't take that risk. And don't quote me, it's your own personal decision, but I would stick with the 7%. Only refinance if you're getting a much better interest rate. Now, if you already have private loans, then definitely refinance. But if you're going to be switching from public to private loans, then only refinance if you're getting a much better interest rate. Now, if you did not get a much better interest rate, like I said, do not refinance, and you can basically skip the rest of this video and move on to the next section, which is section 3. But if you did get a better interest rate, then continue to follow along with me, and we're going to now move to step 2, which is based on the comparison that we got. We're now going to pick the company with the lowest interest rate. Makes sense, right? But first, I want to do my due diligence here and go over what is the difference between fixed and variable interest rates. So you would have seen in those screenshots that you had 2 different types of interest rates, and they were different. One is a fixed rate, and 2 is a variable rate. What's the difference? Fixed rates do not change. Whatever interest rate that is, you will have that through the whole life of your refinanced loan. Variable interest rates, however, may change, and it depends on a variety of factors, but primarily the economy. So the rule of thumb is that if you're paying off your debt fairly quickly, say in 1 to 3 years, then I recommend that you choose whichever rate is the lowest, even if that is variable, because it's highly, highly unlikely that your interest rate will change significantly if it's variable between 1 and 3 years. Now, if you're paying off your debt and it's taking you 5 years or 10 years and that's your goal and that's your plan, then I would say, to be safe, go with fixed rates. But ultimately, it's your personal preference. I cannot guarantee that variable rates are or not going to change, and I can't predict the future. So it's really, what do you personally believe in and what's going to make you feel the most comfortable? So we went over this in the spreadsheet, but a couple more things for me to talk about when choosing the right company. You want to make sure that you're getting the lowest interest rate. That's pretty obvious. But you also want to make sure that you have flexible payment plans, forbearance if you have economic hardship, a grace period if you're refinancing right after graduation, that they have excellent customer service, no fees, and then no prepayment penalty. And here's some more examples to basically dig into that comparison between fixed and variable, really to make it clear for you. So for example, if I was provided an estimated refinance rate of 4.5% variable, and then I was also given 5% fixed, I would likely choose fixed. Now that's just me, but I would likely choose fixed even if it was only going to take me 1 or 2 years or 3 years to pay off. Now 3% versus 5%, it's a little bit bigger difference. That, based on a $100,000 loan, if you're paying the minimum, is now $1,500 difference in interest. That's pretty big. So in this example, if it would only take me 1 to 3 years, or that's my goal to pay off my debt in 1 to 3 years, I would choose variable. Now, if my goal is to pay that off in a longer period of time, say 5 or more years, then I would maybe lean toward fixed. But once again, it has to be best for you. I want you to have the peace of mind, though, that no matter what, if you refinance and you make sure that you're refinancing at the lower interest rate, you are going to save thousands of dollars no matter what. You know, for example, you have a $100,000 loan, 7% versus 5%. If you are only paying the minimum, that's $2,000 you just saved. So one little click is going to save you thousands of dollars, even if that refinance rate is not massively different. So after we've chosen our company, I want you to make sure that you're using the links below, if those are the desired companies for you, to make sure that you get extra money in your pocket. It just makes sense. Now, I do get a little referral bonus from this, but more importantly, you get an extra $100 to $200 when you complete the applications through the links below. Now, step 4, remember that once you refinance and everything goes through, that you make sure to sign up for autopay so you get that extra 0.25% interest rate reduction. So here's what we should have accomplished so far. In section 1, we should have created our debt-free goal. In section 2, we should have maximized our credit score and making sure that we have our payments on autopay, that we've paid off any penalties or late fees, that we're trying to pay off that high interest debt, not only to reduce the amount of money going towards interest, but also to make sure that our credit to debit ratio is amazing. And then we've added 1 to 2 new cards also, along with keeping our old cards. And lastly, we refinanced at the lowest interest rate. We're going to move on now to step 3 in the debt-free framework, which is building a repayment strategy. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, just email me at debtfreept@gmail.com. And let's see you in section 3.